friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today to talk about some investments you can consider if you've already got to the point where you feel pretty good about your food storage in your garden, so you constantly have food coming in, your water storage, or a source of water that you can clean yourself and have available, because these are two of the most important things, and of course shelter. So this particular video is going to be for a little bit more advanced preppers who are wondering what the next step is they should take. Now, I'm not here as a financial advisor. I'm not here to tell you what you should do. I'm here to give you some ideas to consider, because what you choose from this point on, just like the type of food you store, is going to be very much dependent on your family's needs. How you choose to invest into your future is also going to be very much dependent on you, where you think your future is headed, and the concerns that you have for your family, and what you plan to leave to your family, your kids, your grandkids, and so on. So I thought I'd go ahead and share just what we have been doing over the past several years and why, just to give you some ideas. Now, obviously, it's going to depend on your funds, what you are able to do as well. So just like with anything else, it's always best to kind of start small and work your way up. And here's something too, you got to keep kind of watching what's happening out there on the horizon, because your thoughts may change. Don't pick one idea and just stick with it and that's it. Always be willing to kind of go with the flow to a certain degree. So for example, a lot of people might be investing in cryptocurrency. And that's really cool if they're looking for some kind of immediate payback. But personally for us, I don't see that as something that I would do long term, even if I was going to invest in it at all, which I haven't, and I don't plan on doing it. And I'm not going to get into that other than the fact that I do believe it's important, as much as you are able, to look at things that are tangible when it comes to investments. I'm not saying it's wrong to invest in crypto or other such things, but just as long as you're not putting all your eggs in one basket there, but you're looking at tangible assets as well. So for example, silver and gold. I think personally, if you're going to invest in silver and gold because you see what's happening to the dollar, and has been happening ever since 1913, and is getting worse every day at an alarming rate, and something like gold and silver is going to retain its value and always has. A lot of people will invest in that, but I personally wouldn't do that in the form of stocks, because that's not a tangible asset. I would do that in the form of having it in a tangible form. Now, we don't invest in gold, but I do put some investment into silver in a tangible asset. So, after we started working on our food storage and putting in a garden and all that, one of the first things that we did was get the house paid off. That was a big one. We were still able to put some stuff up as we were focusing on paying off the house, but for a while there, we spent 2 years just hammering that principle until we got the house paid off. And I could not believe how quickly it happened. I didn't think we would be able to do it in that time. And we have a more in-depth video we did several years back that I'll link to in the description box down below if you're interested in how we did that. But I think if you are in debt, I think that should be one of your next big goals that you work towards. Remember, every dollar that you can put on the principal counts. So that means if you can give up something that only costs you $1 a day, a couple dollars a week, whatever it is, if you can give that up for a time, then that little bit right there, you'll be surprised at the difference it will make once you start putting that on your principal. And once you start seeing that number drop, you'll want to start putting more, and it will start to become a game as you figure out what else can you cut so you can get that property paid off. And then the next big thing was starting to invest in our solar setup. And that was a tough one for us because of where we live. We live here that's why my channel is called Rain Country, because we live on the peninsula of Washington State, the wettest part of Washington State, the most cloudy part of Washington State. And so obviously we don't get a ton of solar collection, even though we have a pretty good array. But we built on it slowly starting off with a few panels. I think we just started off with 4 panels, and I don't remember how big our battery bank was at the time, but through the years we built on that and added to it. And now in the summertime we could run everything we needed off our solar power most of the time in summer, but we've been having some more darker and darker summers, so we're not getting as much collection as we used to do when we first got this setup in place. So we knew when we invested in it that it would not be reliable all the time, and certainly not during the winter. But in the winter we can fall back on our wood stove. So even though we've always had a wood stove, getting a bigger, better wood stove that I could also cook on top of was another investment that we made that would cover us for 9 months out of the year, because typical year for us, we have to have a fire going 9 months out of the year. And so we can cook on that, we heat our house, we dry our laundry, I dehydrate stuff, heat water for washing dishes, and in the event of a power outage, we can use the hot water we perpetually keep on there to clean ourselves with in the shower. That was a really good investment. So anything that you can look at that's going to work best for you, because not everybody can have wood stoves, some form where you can cover yourself in the event of not having any power, or a way to pay the power bill. Again, solar's not going to be for everyone, but there's very many other forms of off-grid power that you can look into, or even look more at things that you can do that don't require any type of electricity, such as a treadle machine, a hand crank grain mill, anything that you can do by hand tools for the shop, a coffee grinder that you run by hand, anything hand or foot operated, and then get yourself familiar with it. Now, when you get beyond that, how are you going to heat, how are you going to cook, how are you going to do some of the various things that you normally depend on electricity, then what's the next step? Is it possible you could invest in more land? Some of you already have that land, that property that's perfect for you, that's going to be your forever home. And even though we've lived in this abode here since we got married 32 years ago, we do have a couple other pieces of property. One we bought in 2021 that we have yet to really talk about yet. One we bought, I think it was 2018 or 2019, and that's the one that's just down the road from us. And that one's just a shy acre. This piece here is just not even a third acre on a quarter lot in a neighborhood. So most of what we do is right here, but slowly we're starting to expand outward as we're able to save up the money and then pay cash, because this is why it's taken us so long to get there, because we don't want to sell what we have right now, but we wanted to save up and just add to what we have. And so we did find for around here, it took us a while, a lot of hunting, to find something that we could pay cash for that was also far more remote, and that's more of our bug out location. We may eventually move onto it at some point, so little by little we'll be getting it to a point where we could live there, but it's going to be completely off grid. There's not going to be any electricity plumbed in there. We do have a source of water. So eventually we will talk more in detail about that, or I might let Patrick do that on one of his trips out there to work on that property, because it is out of town, and so that's the way we wanted it. It's great having this piece right down the road for an expansion of what we're doing here, but we did want to invest in something where we could just get away from everything if we absolutely had to, maybe even take our family out there. So that, again, is not going to be for everyone, but it is an option. It might be something you might want to start looking into, is having, if you're living in town or living in the city, consider investing in something that is outside, especially if you're living in a big city. Definitely consider investing in something outside the city, as remote as you can get without being totally isolated from the rest of the world, because I know you're still going to want, even if it's just an investment in something that you can escape to if needed. So some people would consider that their bug out location, which is kind of what I'm thinking of it right now, but it eventually might be our forever home. We'll see. So in the meantime, we're still working on our off-grid skills in many different ways, and that's something else. Don't forget to keep working on those skills. Don't assume also that what you can do right now you'll be able to do 20 years from now. You know, maybe 20 years from now, you won't be in the same health condition you are in now. Maybe you got in an accident or whatever happened, and now you can't physically do the same things you used to do. So always kind of put into place the things that will prepare you for getting older or possibly getting ill and not being able to do all that same stuff, or in the event of the loss of a spouse. What can you do? Like for me, if I lost Patrick, there's a lot of stuff that he does around here that I don't know that I'd be able to do. Some stuff I would be able to figure out, but I have to have some backup plans. And same thing the other way around. If I go before he does, a lot of the electronic stuff I do, working with things on the internet and stuff, I got to make sure I have things in place and instructions in place for him in case that happens. And that's, of course, assuming that when that happens, that there is still internet to even access. Some other things that we've also been doing, and this goes hand in hand with investing in property, and we actually started doing this many years ago because we'd actually been looking for property for, maybe 25 years, looking for another piece of property. And at the time we were looking in a different place because of where Patrick was working, and starting to invest in equipment even back then, like the backhoe and our first dump truck and the equipment trailer, so we would have the equipment needed for working that piece of land, because we were looking at buying a bare piece of land and working it ourselves. And that's what we've done with this piece outside of town. And so then eventually upgrading to a bigger and better dump truck, because the other one's older and it's not as big and it cannot really handle carrying loads up the mountains. So we needed something that could handle it better. So we invested. That's the orange dump truck you've been seeing more of. That was another more recent purchase. And that is for the purpose of being able to haul gravel up to that property and any other heavy equipment we need to take, or even for going and getting a shipping container like we just purchased from someone fairly local, and we needed that big truck and that equipment trailer to bring that 20-foot shipping container back to the property down the road. So, and hopefully we'll have a video on that. Patrick still has to, at the time I'm shooting this, he still has to get that equipment trailer unloaded, and we'll do an update on that. Some of you know about our smaller 10-foot shipping container that we got, and now we're going to have a bigger one, and it's going to be, again, a multi-purpose thing, so where he can protect his wood miser and any lumber that he saws up. He has a place to store it to keep it dry or to get it dry. So that was a couple other investments we've made within the past couple of years. The wood miser, for instance, was, and he has several videos out on that. Part of the reason for that investment was, it was twofold. It was so that we could mill up our own lumber for building whatever it is we need to build, but also so that we could have it as a business opportunity. And this will go for any of the other equipment we have. The dump truck, the equipment trailer, the backhoe, the excavator, these are all things we can use if we want to start another business. So, we used to have a business like that several years ago, but we still consider possibly starting that business again at some point if need be. And it's a fallback plan is what it is, because YouTube, even though it's kind of dispersed, ends up being our main source of income. Well, if all that's gone, we have to have something to fall back on. So these are other things you have to consider. You don't know if that retirement check that you've got coming in or Social Security you got coming in, is that going to be there forever? They're always making all these threats that these things could be gone. And so you got to keep thinking outside the box, thinking of ways that you can invest in tangible assets that you can either use to work to bring in some money or to just keep you going. So that's what we've been doing here. And then I do have some other videos you might want to consider checking out that I did within this past year, like the one I did on arts and crafts supplies and preparedness in that area and why that's important. And I'll link to that down below, and any other videos that I think will be helpful, especially if you're getting started and you're watching this and you're like, wow, that just sounds like too much. Go back and watch some of those starter videos to help get you headed in the right direction. But there's nothing wrong with you starting to think about some of the stuff I'm talking about now. So any way that we can look out for ourselves down the road to be able to take care of ourselves and our family. There's so many different directions this can go. And again, I have to stress, this is going to be very much individualized according to you, your needs, and your family's needs, what you can afford and what you're able to do. It's not going to be the same for everyone, and there's no one way that's going to be right for everyone. So the things that we're doing, like investing in the heavy equipment and the sawmill and the property, that's certainly not going to be for everyone, because not everyone can run the heavy equipment or wants to know how or wants to mess with that. We get that. So I'm just throwing these out as ideas to get you sort of stewing on, okay, what are some directions you would like to head? What are some skills you would like to learn, and then possibly use those skills to be able to barter, to be able to get what you need for what maybe the things that you can't grow or raise. Like maybe you don't have space for cattle, maybe you don't have the energy to take care of a farm like that, but you can grow a heck of a lot of zucchini, and you can use that for exchange for some raw milk from somebody, or eggs, or whatever it may be. The list could go on and on and on. I'm just trying to throw some ideas out at you to get you to sort of think along another lines there, especially if you've already got to that point where you're like, okay, I have like 5 years worth of food storage and I have all the water I need because we have a well or a creek or whatever. Then start expanding out the way you think and the way you want to start doing your investments. And please, any of you who have some ideas, what are you doing? What are some ways that you're expanding onto what you already have? So past the food and water and shelter, what else are you doing or working towards to help give people some other ideas that they can toss around and stew on and start thinking what direction that they want to head with their own preparedness and self-sufficiency. We can't depend on the government to be there for us, and we can't always depend on our friends and family to be there for us. We need to take the responsibility ourselves to do what we can. Yes, we're always going to need other people. We were made to need other people, but we can't assume other people are going to take care of us either. So that is our responsibility. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some ideas. Don't forget to read the comments down below and to also check out the links I'll be putting in the description box. If you're on a computer, you can click on Show More, and you're on YouTube, right down here below my channel name, or if you're on a smart device, it'll be that little gray arrow right over here. That will open up the description box so you can find all the information I'll be putting there. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.